Welcome to part 5 of India Opportunity for Growth. Let's focus on a key topic here that is quite important for SMEs, Italian companies wanting to develop business in India. The Italian and Indian cultural synergy. This is something that even Samit and I, we have been focusing on now for the last 10 years and actually experiencing that ourselves, firsthand in this special relationship that we developed and also that our families developed. Even if, we belong to different cultures, different mindsets, different kind of, religions, there are some key fundamental common values that create some very strong bonds that are fundamental in developing solid business. So there are some sociocultural similarities that are rooted in tradition, in centuries of history. First of all, the first one is the core relevance of family values, brother. I mean, family is everything in India.
Yeah, family is everything in India. It is businesses started from families. Families are growing, businesses are growing. Families, even if they go nuclear, I mean, they are still in the same business. So
Yes.
they value the roots, they value their traditions, and so forth. Yes.
Yes, and then it's important, just to note that those common family dynamics, they are the same in Italy and in India, and that in itself, even beyond the language, creates some special connections.
Sure.
Then another key aspect is the relevance of nurturing long-term friendships. Friendship is an important value in India.
Yes, it's very important value in India because people make choices, and this is the choices come out of what you gain from the friendship. Basically, if it is just for some gains, it does not last, and it's never a friendship. But the Indian culture is so that regardless of anything that you have to gain or lose, does not matter. What matters is the relationship as being friends.
Yes. Absolutely. And then two other important traits that are common for India and Italy is that the relevance of social relationships and also the relevance of food in terms of the social relationships.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Indians are foodies. They like to spend time with people, brainstorming new ideas, new innovations, solving problems when they are at lunch, when they are at dinner. They enjoy the food, and possibly the food gives them the right thought.
Yes. So that's also quite similar to Italy. And unfortunately, because of the current pandemic, I
So,
mean, those things have been, of course, affected. Another key trait that commonality that synergizes the two cultures is the relevant on focus on innovation and craftsmanship. Now, for innovation, I remember something that I learned since we started to spend time together, and is the concept of frugal innovation or jugaad. That means just to be able to find solutions to problem within the limited resources that you have. That has become a secular art. I mean, in a form of art in India, and it is also quite popular also here in Italy. There are many examples of Jugaad brother there.
yes, I mean, Jugaad is something that an Indian carries with him on day-to-day basis. It could be he falls for so many troubles in life, in his daily life. I mean, as a common man, that he needs solutions, and it's not that every time is something that you go in the market and you buy and you start using it. So the same is carried ahead in companies to solve problems. It could be engineering problem or it could be any other problem. So this is like a support kind of a system, and so a system that runs the community.
Yes, and that's quite important also because therefore when dealing with Indians, it's important that things might sometimes they might not go well. Can be some issues, but it is normal to find together solutions. That's the mindset.
Yes.
Another key aspect is that the focus on craftsmanship and also on art. That's we know that is part of the Italian heritage, but also in India that heritage is quite strong.
Yes, I mean, India has a long history. the first civilization started in India, more into the Harappa and so forth, and then we had a lot of visitors in India from the Portuguese, the British, the French, the Dutch,
Yes.
all of them, the Arabs and so forth. So, being with the long history, we have a lot of art and craftsmanship that is there in India, which is in the blood, which is in the DNA. And the most important part is we appreciate that. At the same time, the Indians appreciate the Italian lifestyle, the goods, and everything about Italy.
Yes, it's interesting. I still remember, when you came over once, with your family, also with your parents, that you went across Europe, and somehow then, when you came back to Italy, even your father stated that, I feel back home.
Yes, Italy is a home to us. I mean, at least to my family. I mean, we feel like
Yes,
home there because we
yes,
find people there. I mean, that's the point.
yes. Another key cultural aspect that is common to the two nations is that focus on flexibility. Adapting to change is a way of life in India in so many different ways. When you travel to India, you realize that right away because of the complexities of even traffic. So in so many different ways that it's not possible even sometimes to plan things. That you need to adapt and to find a way of the system. So that's something that is part of everyone's life
Yeah.
since childhood.
Yes, and that is also a point of being tolerant.
Hmm.
Being tolerant.
Key aspect that is present. Yes.
Yeah.
Now another key aspect is that the one that is related to it is the one that to embrace challenges, because challenges at the same time, Indians are quite aware that challenges mean opportunities for growth. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I mean, the Indians, they learn from their own challenges. They bring out new solutions, which turn out to be opportunities for them. They take advantage of the situation in terms of doing business, and they come out of the challenges fruitfully. That is what it happens. So they are not like they are more motivated towards finding a solution.
Yes, that's a key focus that is quite important, mostly nowadays in the complex world that we live. And then another key factor here for a mindset is the focus on on long-term solutions. The focus on that also helps to deal with the hurdles that you can find in the short term. So in relating to Indians, you always need to focus on the mid to long term. That is quite beneficial.
Yes, yes, because somehow the Indians have realized that short-term solutions are not worth it. So they can take a loss or dent right now, but rather focus on the mid to long term, because it is not only about them, but it is also about the people who are dependent on them. In case of business operations or services, whatever it could be, also personal life.
Yes, and this is very important, while implementing a business in India. Another key trait that is quite common to India and to Italy, and it helps to synergize, is the relevance of family businesses. Family entrepreneurship is still very much present, brother, right?
Yes, absolutely. The big businesses are run by families in India. It's not that there's a lobby, but every business family is doing their best for building the nation.
Yes, we have the big conglomerates, Tata, Godrej, Reliance, and so forth. And it is quite similar also here in Italy. Actually, here in Italy, it was then many of those large companies have been bought out by larger corporation. But at the same time, in terms of cultural values, they're quite similar, and that's what we need to leverage on in order to understand each other. And then also, family members are still very much involved in important roles in the companies.
Yes, because this is to control and this is to maintain the goals of the company basically, and to keep. It's not just to keep the wealth within the family. It's not about the wealth. It's about the control, the proper efficient working of the company, and
Yes.
keeping the trust and faith within the system.
Trust is a key word in India.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Another aspect is the focus on establishing and maintaining long-term relationships. And here, as you know, we already mentioned, trust is a key factor, and trust comes from even the small things, the daily things, the daily kind of behavior, as well as the long-term kind of decisions. We need to make sure that we keep on reinforcing trust in so many different ways, because Indians, they pay attention to that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it is about the behavior that proves the person's attitude, also his aspirations, where he wants to go, and so forth. He could be best in his studies or marks or university, but trust can be only gained from his behavior.
Yes, essential trait.
Yeah, essentially.
Then another important topic is that we must generate some sort of mutual understanding in accepting, welcoming, embracing each other, reciprocal advice.
Yes.
This sort of respect.
Yes. So basically, out of respect, showing respect from the heart, from the bottom of the heart. I mean, it is accepted by smart people in India. The advice, they know to listen to people. They know to listen to their partners. They know to listen to the engineers, to their even to the laborers. In some cases, many top level managements they listen to their laborers, who's at the end of also working with the customer possibly. So that's very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
This is also linked, to the famous spiritual kind of, Indian side of the, of things. This
Yeah.
is all related, to getting connected to the heart of the people. Absolutely. And this is also linked to the power of empathy. Empathy, in many cases, also in business, in solving problems, in developing opportunities, goes a long, long way, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. Taking care of the people who work with you, and also sometimes putting down their mistakes, but motivating them with their best what they have and moving on.
Yes. So also for that, there is a special kind of link, a cultural link in heritage, between the Italian and Indians that we can leverage on. So what are the key winning factors for a long-term effective business in India? Brother, we have, we have summarized them in TOS. Trust is supported by legal contracts. That's interesting. Why so, brother?
Yeah,
So trust is not everything.
because when you're doing basically when you do cross-border businesses, you of course would like to be legally binded and protected for your know-how, for your contracts, for your patents, and so forth. So trust is one thing, and legal contracts is another thing, because legal contracts is for bureaucracy in a way. But if there is no trust, legal binding is not going to help any which ways.
Yes, trust comes always first. Then another key element in dealing with Indians that is quite popular and famous, everybody knows about it, is the price. Indians always aim for to lower the price. Therefore, what's the best technique here, brother? To deal with that.
Yeah, it's quite funny because possibly the Indians they want to buy a Lamborghini for a price of an Audi. So it is a huge discounting that needs to be done here. But said that for FMCG products, for consumer goods, you need to have strategies. Like, as we gave you an example before about Tata, what they're doing with Starbucks. You produce coffee in India. The Indians, they would care less about the coffee being produced in Italy or India, as long as the coffee is good, and
Yes.
keep the cost low. And if they want pure Italian coffee, then there is Ely that's there on the market. So there's a range. You need to make strategic decisions to take care of this.
Yeah, but then they are willing to pay a premium for Illy because they know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
And that also links to the next point, that is appreciation of reciprocal focus on brand value and quality. That is something that is quite important,
Yes.
mostly for our SMEs that focus on quality, that focus on heritage. That is something that to promote well in India, because it is something that is appealing from a social point of view. And
Yes.
we have seen that in many cases that we
Yeah,
have dealt with.
in many cases, absolutely. In some cases, I mean, if there are goods which are like say fashion goods, they cannot be made in India and put an Italian company. It has to be made in India, or made in Italy, sorry.
Yes, yes. Then respect, as we mentioned before, is a key aspect to cultivate on a daily basis. And then this is an important thing, failure, the way that, we deal with failure. Because in India, failure, can be, is perceived that as the seeds to develop, improvement and growth. So this is something that, needs to be embraced from the perspective of an Italian company wanting to develop business there.
Yes, failures are well analyzed, and new innovative solutions are brought into the companies to not face the failures. Basically, for everybody, it has to be a learning. And the best part about it is that the Indians, in many cases, are quite humble to accept their mistakes and learn out from them.
Yes. So the focus on learning, and it's an essential one within the Indian culture.
Yes.
And then another key aspect that we always point out, with our clients and prospects is that you need to focus on incremental growth, step by step. You cannot rush in India. You cannot expect, results like overnight, but you need to build, in solid steps. That is something that is part of the culture itself.
Yeah, for this, I just have a single line over here. You can have all the wealth in the world to invest in India, but that does not matter. You need a lot of patience. You need endurance in you in terms of thinking, thought process, and strategy, ever changing strategy.
Yes. Thank you. This concludes part 5 of our introduction.
Thank you.